Hello, and thank you for joining us today for an important ABI compliance update. This is Greg Rasta, Chief Compliance Officer of ABI. The purpose of today's Brain Shark is to inform you of recent updates to certain policies and procedures that impact your responsibilities, as well as redesigned materials that you use in your day-to-day activities. In addition to this Brain Shark, I'll be joining your divisional calls in the coming weeks to discuss these new processes and materials. Of course, if you have any questions, please contact your supervisor or feel free to give me a call or send me an email. This brief presentation will address three areas: our updated compliance manual and supervisory procedures, the release of the new ABI sales practice manual, and new forms and processes for training and education events. ABI updates its compliance manuals routinely. For the most current manuals, which are now available on the Legal and Compliance website, there have been a few changes which you should be aware of. In our compliance manual, we have updated our continuing education policy to reflect the requirement that you complete your CE session no later than 2 weeks prior to the close of your CE window. This means that if your window closes on August 31st, for example, you have to sit for and complete the CE session by August 17th. This is to avoid instances where you schedule an appointment at the very end of the window, have to cancel the appointment for an unforeseen reason, and don't have the time to make it up before the window closes. If you do not complete your CE session within the CE window, you will go CE inactive, which would impact your ability to do your job. AllianceBernstein has outsourced certain registrations functions. Therefore, going forward, you should contact our third-party registrations vendor, RegEd, for any Form U4 updates, including name changes, state registrations, exam windows, or other updates. You will be receiving an email with RegEd's contact information in the coming weeks. If you have any updates prior to receiving RegEd's contact information, you can contact compliance and we will be happy to assist you. As you know, the Strategic Business Unit Head has to approve any entertainment or business meals that you reasonably expect to exceed $200 per person in cost. This had previously been Bob Keith. Bob has now delegated this responsibility to Harold Hughes. Therefore, going forward, Harold Hughes will be reviewing and, where applicable, approving these events. Finally, we have an updated process for advisor training and client seminar events, which we will discuss in more detail in a later slide. One other item to note, we also updated the firm's supervisory procedures to reflect these compliance manual changes, as well as recent changes in management and designated principals. In an effort to provide you with guidance on some of the day-to-day questions you may have in your roles, Compliance is pleased to announce the creation of the ABI Sales Practice Manual. This document should be very helpful to you in navigating your day-to-day activities, as it gives you guidance on a number of issues such as email use, communications, and providing entertainment, business meals, and training. The manual is easy to use and provides you with information in a succinct yet detailed manner. There is also an FAQ in the back of the document that answers many real-life questions that we field routinely in compliance. Compliance will be circulating the Sales Practice Manual in the coming days. Further, the manual is also available on the Legal and Compliance Department website or by contacting Compliance. As you know, there were three forms that wholesalers would use for various training events. There were the Advisor Training Offsite, Advisor Training Onsite, and Client Seminar forms. Compliance reviewed these forms and has decided to create one form for all three events. This will help to avoid any administrative confusion and will allow your supervisor to better review the events that you will be involved in. Generally, the same rules apply to the completion of the forms, and these rules can be found in ABI's procedural documents. The form is now available on the Legal and Compliance website. There is an important change to the process that you should be aware of. As you know, all Advisor Training Offsite events and Client Seminar events must be pre-approved by the intermediary firm. This pre-approval is an important FINRA rule requirement. This was previously done by having the advisor you are partnering with certify on the form that he or she obtained the approval from their manager. Going forward, for all advisor offsite and client seminar events, you must obtain the approval from the intermediary firm in the form of an email from the office manager or supervisor and attach this approval in extensity. This can also be done by a handwritten letter. This should not be a burden on the advisor or the intermediary firm, as they, by rule, should be approving such events and have been approving our events in the normal course of business. Keep in mind that you still must provide the form, firm approval, agenda, attendee list, and receipts in extensity. And a final reminder, please be sure that you complete the form in its entirety when you submit to your supervisor and to extensity. Here's a screenshot of the new form. As you can see, it is very similar to the previous forms. However, you will note that in the event information section, you will be required to provide a little bit more information on the venue for the event. Further, as we now require documented approval by the intermediary firm through either email or written correspondence such as a letter, there is no longer an advisor section for the advisor to fill out. Rather, you would attach the email from the intermediary in extensity. The email approval from the intermediary firm should include the date, location, speaking topic, and cost of the event. That concludes today's update. If you have any questions relating to today's material, please discuss the issues with your supervisor. In addition, you may contact ABI's compliance department via email at abi.compliance@alliancebernstein.com or visit us on the web at compliance.acml.com. You can also contact me directly at 212-823-3122 or via email at gregory.rasta@alliancebernstein.com. Thank you.